Hi guys, we just had the World Ultimate Strongman Masters Deadlift Record Challenge between Mikhail Shivlyakov and Terry Hollands. So I don't know if you guys got to see it today, but it was a really good battle between the two guys. The record set at 430 kilos, and this was a real interesting battle because we've had the 400 kilo head-to-head, we've had the max deadlift with Thor going for the 501. But this was a different record this week. It was the Masters record. Both these guys over 40 now. Both have lifted more than this previously, but obviously now they're getting older. They're not quite in their prime. Terry actually on his way back up. It's been, I think, 2013, 2014 was the last time we've seen Terry even challenging for these type of numbers. And Shivlyakov just a warhorse. You know, he's always entertaining to watch. The amount of times I've seen that man do a deadlift for max and blood spurts out of his nose, he tears muscles and he just keeps going and going in competitions. He's such a character. So to see them go head to head rather than just one guy lifting, really good and an interesting battle. And the really interesting thing about this week is the guys got to pick their numbers. And obviously knowing that there was that head-to-head competition, there was a little bit of gamesmanship going on, and it made it really hard for myself and my co-commentator Mark Boyd to kind of keep track of what the numbers they were actually lifting. So I spoke to Terry Hollands just now before doing this video, just to find out exactly the numbers that the guys went for. So they started off, Misha went out first with a 421 kilo pull. Now to me this was a mistake. If you think back to when Thor went for the record a few months back, he opened on 420. And I personally think you want to get that comfortable first lift in. You want to make sure you get your first lift and it builds that confidence. Shivlyakov missed his first rep. Now he had the power to pull it, but he was shaking, he lost his balance a little bit, and unfortunately couldn't lock the weight out. He sort of almost stumbled backwards, went down, no rep from Zadrunas. And obviously the panic's going to set in there. Terry Hollands, we thought was going for 420 as well. And I was just thinking to myself, this is not a good call. But just before we went, we realised it was 400 that he was going for. A much more sensible opener in terms of getting that confidence, getting the confidence building from that first lift. And to be quite honest, Terry didn't make it look as easy as I expected. But at least he got the lift on the board, and that settles the nerves. So lift number 2, Shivlyakov comes back out. This time he makes 421, and it was a good solid pull. He looked like he had a little bit more left in the tank, but I've seen him pull better, if I'm totally honest, in the past. I've seen him looking stronger, but it settles the nerves. He's got the lift on the board, and now he goes into the lead with the 421 kilo with the battle going on between the two of them. Terry comes out. Big jump from looking at his first rep with the 400, he jumps up to 420. So even if he gets this, he's still behind, but obviously we're going to get a good idea of where he's looking. Terry actually makes this lift look really, really impressive. He has great power off the floor, locks out nice and sturdily, and probably the best heavy pull I've seen him do in a number of years. Obviously Terry in his prime back in 2010, 11, 12, he was a 450 puller. But he's lost all his body weight, he's much older now, he's taken care of his fitness and his health. But to see him kind of creeping back up there with these kind of numbers, it was really inspiring to see, especially as an older athlete myself. It gives you that motivation to want to go and do some deadlifts. Lift number 3 for both guys. Both of them want the record. Now looking at Terry's 420, I'm starting to believe he's got a chance. He goes for, I believe, 435 kilos. On camera we called it as 430. We didn't quite, we weren't getting the information for the weights, but I've just found out since it was 435. So another big jump, 15 kilos on top of 420, and that 420 is going to take it out of you, even though it was a good solid lift. Unfortunately, it doesn't really come up off the floor. Terry's really improved his technique over the years. He's now got a much better lockout. His movement is better. He's been working with a really good coach, Delroy McQueen, and his technique's better. But he's lacking that power that he used to have off the floor. So this time it just doesn't come up. It was a good effort. Unfortunately, no record for Terry. Now here's the interesting bit. Is Misha hears that he fails, and he'd already set that he was going to go 436. And he's asking if he can now bring the weight down. He's obviously not feeling as confident as he was, and he's hoping that he can bring the weight down just to try and get the victory. Zadrunas as strict as ever. No, the only thing you can do is put the weights up. So once you set your weights, for this, you can't then bring them down. So he could have gone up to a heavier weight. So if he wanted to, he could have gone 440 if he was feeling confident. But because he'd set that weight, and it's the tactical battle between the two guys, he wasn't allowed to drop down. So he has to go out for 436. Unfortunately, no lift for him. He does get it off the floor, really fast actually off the floor, but he gets stuck at his knees, can't quite get it over to hitch it out. Unfortunately, a fail there on the record as well. But because he did the 421, he gets the win between the two guys. Now, I think with the time frame that the guys have had to train for, they both did very well. And I can certainly see one of these guys coming back and making that Masters record in the not too distant future. But there's a number of other guys I think that would like to be into that battle as well. You look at someone like Mark Felix. I know he'd put himself into that battle. I'm sure you guys can comment below with a number of guys that you think will challenge the record. Let me know if you watched today. Let me know who you think can beat it. And we'll be back with more strongman news soon.